After years and years of playoff disappointment, the Baltimore Ravens are reaching a breaking point.
We can all picture Sundays in our minds. The rituals, the routines, the feel of football in the air. But not every game plays out like the script in our head.
The fans, players, and coaching staff can only take so much heartbreak before things fall apart. So in the 2025 offseason, the Ravens have continued to build out a stacked roster in the way they know best. But regular season success will no longer cut it. With superstars now entering contract years and Lamar Jackson's legacy on the line, 2025 has to be the year. And because of the things we're gonna go over in this video today is exactly why the Baltimore Ravens are going all in. Now, if there's an NFL franchise that has exemplified stability since it came, into the NFL and was made, it would be the Baltimore Ravens. Since being established in 1996, the Ravens have had just 3 head coaches and 2 GMs in the past 29 years. They haven't just stuck with their guys out of habit. Baltimore has seen 4 AFC Championship game appearances and 2 Super Bowls in that time span. And look, straight up, if the Baltimore Ravens want to try and win another Lombardi, then they're gonna have to start by addressing the biggest issue that they've had in recent years. It's choking in the postseason, and the ways that they've done to combat that and make sure hopefully that doesn't keep happening is they've tried to tie down some of their most important pieces heading into the 2025 season. Head coach John Harbaugh, who brought the Ravens back to glory in 2013, was entering the final year of his contract in 2025. So general manager Eric DeCosta's first order of business was signing Harbaugh to a 3-year extension that will keep him in Maryland until 2028. Up to this point too, Harbaugh has finished 12 of his 16 seasons as a head coach with a winning record, with the 3rd most wins among active NFL head coaches. And yes, of course, wins have been a lot easier to come by since the 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson has come into the backfield in 2018. The Ravens have made the playoffs in 6 of these 7 seasons with Jackson on the roster, who, like Harbaugh, is tied to the franchise until 2028 and forms another chunk of the bedrock for this team. Lamar's heroics this past season almost earned him a 2nd consecutive MVP in 2024, but as we all know, the award ultimately went to the man who did down the Ravens in the postseason. And speaking of the 2024 playoffs too, following a comprehensive 28-14 win over the wildcard Steelers, Baltimore made the trek up to Buffalo in hopes of advancing to the conference championship game where they could get revenge on the Chiefs. Instead though, they were stopped in their tracks by the Bills and yet another disappointing postseason performance from Lamar and company. And now that's kind of been the challenging point, is trying to accurately diagnose why the Ravens haven't been able to have great postseason success recently. Whether it's an individual error or simply a mental hurdle they're yet to clear, GM Eric DeCosta and his front office have gone to great lengths to prove that this year, more than any other, they're going all out to reach the Super Bowl. The first move this offseason was securing all-pro left tackle Ronnie Stanley for the next 3 years on a deal worth a total of $60 million. While not quite as flashy either, they also signed Cooper Rush as a reliable backup for Lamar in the case of injury. More smart business from the Ravens. Then, just a matter of days after investing heavily in their offensive line, Baltimore made the move that perhaps just most signals of their win now mentality. DeAndre Hopkins signed a 1-year, $5 million deal, bringing with him a player profile that Ravens fans may be wary of. Veteran receivers coming in on a 1-year deal haven't exactly set the world alight in empty Bank Stadium. The likes of OBJ and Deshaun Jackson have both been recruited as a safe pair of hands for Lamar to throw to in recent years, but neither was able to take the franchise any closer to the promised land. And yes, you could argue that Hopkins is coming in with a little bit more in the tank than what OBJ and Deshaun Jackson still had left. In 2023, as we know, Hopkins had a 1,000-yard, 7-touchdown season while catching passes from Will Levis. Although his 2024 was largely inconsistent, he should be productive in a much more stable situation in Baltimore. And look, we all do have eyes. Hopkins is nowhere near the player he was in his prime, but even if he isn't a 1,000-yard wide receiver in 2025, his role as a mentor for this young, exciting receiver core could be equally important. Reports coming out of OTAs have praised DeAndre Hopkins for the guidance and advice he's already providing his new teammates with. Lamar's favorite target though for last season was Zay Flowers in only his year 3. Sure, his Pro Bowl effort in 2024 was solid, but there's still plenty of room for Flowers to grow. His 4 receiving touchdowns suggest he stands to improve as a red zone threat, which has been Hopkins' calling card throughout his career. By contrast though, the Ravens wide receiver 2, Rashad Bateman, had no issues finding the end zone in 2024 with 9 touchdowns to his name. He was rewarded for his contributions this offseason as well, signing a 3-year, $36.5 million extension in June. With his future now assured, the 25-year-old can continue to hone his craft and will only get better as he enters the prime of his career with a veteran like Hopkins at his side. Beyond the wide receivers though, we all know how heavily the Ravens did rely on their tight end game. Mark Andrews is of course the headliner as the franchise leader in receiving touchdowns enters the final year of his contract, age 29. Andrews had been considered Baltimore's most reliable offensive weapon for years. However, a costly drop on a 2-point conversion against Buffalo left a bitter taste in Ravens fans' mouths.
Gonna roll, flip it, got it. Oh, the ball was dropped. He had the 2-point conversion in his hands.
But I mean, at his age, Andrews may very as well be playing for his last big payday. Even with some trade rumors circulating earlier in the offseason, don't be surprised if he bounces back with another dominant season and potentially replicates his all-pro form from 2021. That is going to be a little bit tougher though, as Andrews is going to be sharing targets with Isaiah Likely, which may complicate that return to form. The former 4th-round pick has improved year on year, becoming a major factor in the Ravens offense. Likely is also playing on the last year of his contract with plenty to prove. He certainly possesses the qualities to be a tight end one somewhere, but will remain second fiddle to Mark Andrews so as long as they're both under contract in Baltimore. And yes, while making the decision of who to pay and who to let walk is certainly inevitable, the Ravens offense will remain a lethal red zone threat at all times with Andrews and Likely playing at the top of their game. In 2024, they were far and away the most efficient offense in the league, scoring on nearly 78% of their trips to the red zone with a whole 8% more than Cincinnati in second place. And yes, of course, while you do have Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely kind of trying to stretch the field and make sure that while Lamar Jackson is scrambling back there, that he does have an outlet to throw to, there is one more important cog that, well, we haven't addressed yet, and we all know who it is. It's Derrick Henry.
This man is a man-child. He runs over people.
I mean, it's intimidating.
I always say there's no king here.
This has been a perfect fit between team, culture, and player.
Every single time I see.
Because he was a big part in the running back resurgence in 2024, defying all conventional wisdom about positional value by posting 1,921 yards and a league-leading 16 touchdowns at the age of 30. Although his deal was initially set to expire after the 2025 season, DaCosta and his front office elected to extend the veteran's deal by 2 years, spending $30 million in the process. For most running backs, a decline due to age is a legitimate concern, but if King Henry proved anything this past season, it's that his greatness knows absolutely no bounds. The Ravens know how to take care of their guys, and they're definitely not missing the chance to have a future Hall of Famer and the best running back of his generation retire in the purple and black. And that's kind of the crazy part about this whole thing too, is that for many older Ravens fans, they're not used to having this stacked of an offense. Like, there are a lot of guys that are on this roster that are either entering the peaks of their careers or in that critical time of their careers heading into 2025. But that's the thing too, is if we flip to the other side of the ball, well, that's where the Ravens are, what the Ravens are mostly known for, is just how dominant their defense is. And in 2025, it definitely is just as dominant as ever before. Even after losing defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald to the Seattle Seahawks head coach vacancy ahead of last season, there were big shoes to fill in the Ravens coaching staff. I mean, after all, Macdonald was something of a defensive genius, taking Baltimore's unit from average to elite in his 2-year tenure. Inside linebackers coach Zachary Orr was promoted to defensive coordinator, but the unit struggled in Macdonald's absence. They allowed the most yards through the air in 2024, which coincided with the departure of DB coach Denard Wilson to the Titans, as well as a loss of other key defensive pieces such as Patrick Queen, Geno Stone, and Jadeveon Clowney. The run defense did remain solid, but there were some serious tightening up to do in the second half of the season. And yes, while things did ultimately improve down the stretch, 2 clear needs emerged on the defense: help in the secondary and depth at edge rusher. And as with any prudent GM, DaCosta got to work on those 2 things straight away. First off, the Ravens released free safety Marcus Williams, who had failed to live up to the hefty 5-year $70 million he was signed back to in 2022. They then followed that up by re-signing safety Darius Washington, who was a big part of turning things around in the second half of 2024. Unfortunately, Washington did tear his Achilles in May, which will keep him out for the 2025 season, which is a huge blow for the Ravens. DaCosta did opt to pick up Kyle Hamilton's fifth-year option for 2026 though, which will mean an $18 million cap hit, making him the 8th highest paid safety. And that's for a player who is easily in the top 5, even maybe you could argue top 3 at his position, which truthfully that's a solid deal while they work out the details for a long-term extension. Elsewhere, they restructured Marlon Humphrey's contract to create $13 million in cap space ahead of the 2025 offseason, which allowed the front office to make some crucial free agent signings to complement a well-rounded draft haul. In the draft, in classic Ravens fashion, they got a steal at the end of the first round in Malik Starks, who is far and away graded as the best safety in the class until a dip in production during his final season at Georgia. Starks was a beast in his first 2 seasons in Athens, earning him an All-American nod in his sophomore season. This saw him labeled as a future top 5 pick, which means a lot for a safety. But then in 2024, the Bulldogs deployed Starks in the slot on man coverage significantly more than they had in years prior, and he struggled to keep up with his newfound role, resulting in a statistical decline and significant dent in his draft stock. However, I mean, truthfully, it is impossible to look past his remarkable tape and impressive output over the course of his entire collegiate career, meaning that come draft night, Malik Starks was the first safety selected. With the stacked secondary around him too, Starks should have plenty of time to properly learn his role and ease into the NFL. Adding the sudden injury to Washington too, and Starks may have a pivotal role to play as a rookie this year even. The Ravens then got another great value pick in the second round, taking edge rusher Mike Green out of Marshall. Green's talent was never in question, but character concerns loomed large throughout the evaluation process, which saw the 3rd highest graded player at his position fall out of the first round entirely. Despite Eric DaCosta's assurances that they are thoroughly evaluated Green's legal cases, the Ravens organization already sustained substantial off-field scrutiny earlier this year with Justin Tucker, so if Green is able to contribute on the field long-term and not cast further doubt on Baltimore's character assessment process, he will certainly fortify the Ravens' pass rush. In the 3rd round, they then took Emory Jones out of LSU, who won't be expected to start right away, which on the upside, Jones did block for Jaden Daniels for 2 seasons in college, meaning he's well adjusted to protecting an exceptionally mobile quarterback, an undervalued trait when your franchise guy is Lamar Jackson. Add to that the retention of Kyle Van Noy and Odafe Owehi, both coming off of career seasons, and Nnamdi Madubuike continuing his Pro Bowl form and holding things down on the defensive line, and the Ravens defense should be back amongst the best in 2025. The cherry on top of all of this though was the signing of Jair Alexander to a 1-year deal worth $4 million with another $2 million in very achievable appearance-related add-ons. Alexander brings with him elite pedigree from his 7 seasons as cornerback 1 in Green Bay, and yes, although he has had injury struggles, Jair Alexander is unquestionably one of the best in the game when he is healthy. Now reunited with his college teammate in Lamar Jackson, Jair's intentions in joining the Ravens is clear. 2025 is Super Bowl or bust in the city of Baltimore. And I mean, truthfully, why not? So many guys on this roster have everything to play for. And the fact too that the AFC North could be a cakewalk. Like, I mean, the Steelers are uninspiring. The Bengals have no defense at all. The Browns are the Browns. That's enough said. Truthfully, who else in the AFC can hold a candle to them talent-wise? The Chiefs will probably be shaken after their Super Bowl defeat. The Bills roster isn't anywhere near as deep, meaning it will take an up-and-coming contender to rival them for the AFC crown this season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are here, we are in overtime, and yes, it's the Baltimore Ravens we have to talk about. And I got my notes. You grab some popcorn, comment OT if you made it this far in the video, and as always, make sure that if you guys enjoy this, like, comment, and subscribe. But make sure if you guys want Discord talks, hop in the Discord we launched. It's going to be going crazy in there. We're going to try and build it up a little bit more for the NFL season, doing live streams, things like that in there. So if you guys enjoy talking about football, want to talk about football more, then make sure you hop in there, because we are going to be doing a lot more football discussion in there too, as well as on the channel over here. So first things first that we got to talk about, Lamar Jackson this season. Yeah, your boy is going to be on a damn mission to make sure they get a Super Bowl this year. I think truthfully, he even said it. I got it on my notes right here. It says that he said, and I quote, "I don't get over any losses," and declared we're going to bounce back. So, I mean, truthfully, The dude has been watching every single loss that they had this past year, all the narrow ones for sure too. And he's going to be making sure that they're well equipped and just, he's going to be doing everything in his willpower to make sure that they can't be stopped. I mean, the dude literally, it's not even literally, the dude should have won MVP last year, no doubt. Like, the season he put together was, I'm sorry, if you're a Josh Allen stan, the dude stood on business and was way better than Josh Allen. That's just my personal opinion. But also, if you like this setup more, let me know. If you guys like it at the desk more, let me know. If you like the couch more, let me know. I'm just trying things out over here right now. But overall, I mean, I'm going to be walking back and forth. Again, he's just very vengeful this year. The dude is going to be on a mission. He wants to be, you know, he's doing everything in his willpower by showing up to voluntary OTAs. And it's just lining up with everything that they have in their mission to make sure that they can win a Lombardi trophy this year. And I think the thing too is that a lot of Ravens fans, and I think even the Ravens organization, they're starting to kind of realize that they're in the prime. They're obviously in the prime of Lamar Jackson, but they're also kind of moving towards the end. Sorry, I was looking at my camera. They're moving towards the end of a lot of veterans that are on this roster to keep the team together very well. I know they do have some defensive pieces that are still good, like Kyle Hamilton. I think they have the linebacker. Actually, I don't know if they still have. I think they still have Roquan Smith or Patrick Queen. They don't have Patrick Queen. I don't know. Comment, let me know. But overall, I think that they're just so good, and their offense is so out of the norm for the Ravens to have. I mean, not anymore, but it used to be so out of the norm for the Ravens to have a good offense that now we've just seen it become accustomed that they're going to hand the ball to Derrick Henry, or they're going to let Lamar Jackson just run the ball. They're going to get 200 yards a game rushing, and they're going to beat you into the ground and then run some play action, dump it to Mark Andrews. Dump it to Isaiah Likely. Like, truthfully, there are so many ways that this offense can expose a defense. It is absolutely crazy. Then also, I think definitely the additions that they made in Jair Alexander and being able to lock up guys, like Ronnie Staley and Rashad Bateman, that is going to help the offense. And then on the defense too, you got Jair Alexander. Like, they have some lockdown players. And I'm not saying Jair Alexander is going to be a top 5 corner this year, but when the dude is on the field, he's got to be top 10, top 15 in the league. I mean, nonetheless, like, the dude is good. He's just got to stay healthy. That's always been his problems. More importantly, though, too, I think this is his 3rd year, Lamar Jackson's 3rd year under the offensive coordinator. So it's going to be able to see that big jump. I think just being able to stay inside the same offense, play with the same players, or majority of them, and it's going to allow him to really explode even more than what we've seen in the past couple of years. And then on top of that, too, their defense, it's absolutely stellar this year. They got Kyle Hamilton, Jair Alexander, Nnamdi Madubuike. Like, they have so many guys on that defensive side of the ball. Like, this might be the year that they actually they are able to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like, I mean, even looking at the Vegas odds too, and I mean, we're going to be talking about more betting when we get into our, our Discord, whenever you guys hop in there, we're betting all the time. But they have the 2nd highest odds, I think, to win the Super Bowl, and then they have the best odds in the AFC, or sorry, they're tied to win the Super Bowl with Buffalo. So, like, I mean, truthfully, Baltimore is going to be a scary team to play this year, and not just for the offense, but the defense too that we talked about in this video. Like, overall, I am truly impressed with what they have done, and they might be able to run the AFC North. I do think the Bengals are going to be a little bit more of a challenge than a lot of people are giving them credit to right now, but who knows, because the teams that the Bengals were beating up on last year were all pretty bad teams. So this year, I just don't see the Ravens. Personally, for me, it's got to be the Ravens that are going to be in that AFC Championship game. If we get a Ravens-Buffalo AFC Championship game, that would be prime. But give me your guys' predictions down in the comment section. As always, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you staying this far into the video. If you did make it here, make sure to comment overtime. Join the Discord if you are a football fan, or just if you're a ball knower. If you're a ball knower, you're going to be in the Discord. If you're not, you're not. But that's your choice if you're a ball knower or not. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one.